Hey everybody, it's Tyler Esselman.
And Michael Osinski.
And you are listening to This One Goes to 11.
This One Goes to 11, the podcast where we invite someone to share an album with us that they believe is perfect.
So perfect, in fact, Michael, that 10 out of 10 just isn't good enough.
No, we don't like the number 10. We prefer the number 11.
It just feels more complete. I was wondering, Michael, you're familiar with the concept of a street team, right?
Sorta, yeah.
Okay, so in preparation for this episode, I came across the concept of a street team again, and I guess I don't really think about street teams that often. And for any of you out there who may kind of like know the term but not know what it is, it's like, like brand ambassadors essentially for a band or a radio station or something like that, and they'll go out and do like in-person marketing stuff, like hand out flyers or like do events at the the Grove in Los Angeles or Times Square or some crazy shit like that. And so I was wondering, Michael, do you think we should get a street team? This One Goes to 11 street team, and what should we do?
I don't even know. I mean, I feel like the only thing I can think of, first of all, where would we do it? Because I currently live in the middle of nowhere, and you live in Los Angeles.
Well, I think we'd meet in the middle and we'd do it in Chicago.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, would it be like a, hey, stop by here and like rate this song, like we play a song or something? Because I mean, I know we talk about albums, but we can't like stop someone on the street and be like, hey, you got 47 minutes, like come join us. Like I feel like it would need to be
something like that.
We would require our street team to wear like a jumpsuit that is made and it's painted to look like the sort of marbleized portion of our logo. Yeah, like from head to toe. Like we're talking like jumpsuit with like a hood over it, so it looks almost like a hazmat suit.
Devo, but with our colors.
Yeah, and like footies too. So it's like they're going in like when you're going in to like a power plant or something like that. It's that's I think that feels like the right image for us. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%, because it's all in the aesthetic of it. That's what people are going to remember. They're going to remember that they're like, ooh, those jumpsuits were hot.
Yeah, all image, no content. Like that's what we strive for around here. This One Goes to 11.
All style, no substance, right?
Oh yeah.
As Paul Hollywood would say about our podcast.
We're so postmodern.
That's fair.
It's funny you should mention street teams, Tyler, because I feel like the band we're covering this week very much existed at a time the street teams were the thing, because we weren't all on social media. It's how they got the word out, and so this is definitely a walk down memory lane here. Who the hell are we talking to this week?
We're talking to Corin Wells. Corin Wells is she's wonderful. She has been a writer for the Amber Ruffin Show. She is an Emmy-nominated writer and producer for Black Lady's Sketch Show, and she currently has a solo show that she's developing called Corin Does White Guys that saw its first public performance at UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater here in Los Angeles, which is where I met her while seeing one of my favorite shows at UCB, Betty Night, a character night. So just a great figure in the UCB community, as I've come to understand it. She's a total delight. We go all sorts of different places that you wouldn't expect us to go while talking about this band, but in the end, it all kind of feels right.
Well, you know what, though, actually, Tyler, in the end, it doesn't even matter.
And with that, let's get right to the episode.
Let's shall.
Corin Wells, welcome to This One Goes to 11. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're honored. We're honored to have you. New friend. Have been so happy to cross paths with you all around Los Angeles whenever it has happened. Though I think it has mostly happened at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. Yep.
It's one spot.
Elsewhere, I would be fine with that. That would be agreeable to me. It'd be nice to see you around other parts of town too.
I don't exist anywhere else.
I get it. UCB, it's got that gravitational pull. You can't get it. It's hard to fight sometimes.
It really is. You have no idea.
Well, we're super excited to have you on today. And if you've for all you listeners out there who it's your first time here, we have asked Corinne to nominate for us 4 albums that she believes are perfect. And Corinne, we chose one of those, and you agreed to speak about it today. So tell us, what album hath thou brought before the This One Goes to 11 tribunal today?
I brought to you today Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory.
I mean, I don't want to show my cards too much here, but I do want to say that, like, I never thought anyone would bring this album before us, and I am so glad that you did.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Yay. It was very just formative for me in high school, so...
Oh my God, I want to know why. So, okay, before we get to that, we got a very special segment that is built just for those people who may not know who Linkin Park is, or who may need a little refresher. And it's called, Michael, what is it called?
It is called A Beginner's Guide to Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory in 60 seconds.
That's not a lot of seconds, I can tell you. We've been working with 60. It is a rather small amount of seconds. And Michael's going to be doing this today, and he really is... he really is the standard when it comes to doing this between us two. So we're going to have him do that 60-second intro, and then Corinne, you're going to you can start building your case by giving him a rating on how well he does summarizing Linkin Park and this album. Make sense?
Great. Perfect.
Great. Michael, I have 60 seconds on the clock. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Straight out of Agoura Hills, California, we've got the nu metal masters, Linkin Park. Formed under the name Zero in 1996 by Mike Shinoda, 2 high school buddies, and 3 guys they recruited, they struggled to get a record deal. It wasn't until 99 when they enlisted the post-grunge pipes of one Mr. Chester Bennington that they would really take off. Also, they changed their name to Hybrid Theory, and then to Linkin Park, named after the park in Santa Monica, with a different spelling so they could snatch the right URL. Initially, record execs weren't buying it, as their unique blend of metal, hip-hop, and electronica made them hard to categorize. One exec even tried to convince Bennington to ditch Shinoda and go full rock, but they stood their ground, and out came their debut album 2000's Hybrid Theory, which would receive mixed reviews from critics and raves upon raves from listeners. Produced 4 singles, peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and ultimately became the best-selling debut album since Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction in 1987. Later, the band would collaborate with artists like Tom Morello and Jay-Z, just to name a few. They would record 7 albums before Bennington's death in 2017. Currently, the band is still on hiatus and refusing requests to tour with the Chester Bennington hologram. Oh man, it went over. You never go over.
Just barely. Just listen.
God damn it!
You're not in top form though. You've been sick all week, Michael. You should cut yourself some slack.
No, it's no excuse. Yeah. I was raised Catholic. I must be perfect every time.
No, being Catholic doesn't start until 9 a.m.
That's a very good point. And we're on Pacific time, so you're good.
Okay, I'll go with your Pacific time, even though I'm Eastern time right now. Oh my God! All right.
To your credit, you only had a few words after the beat. I think it was pretty damn good. But I mean, it's not for me to say. Corinne, how do you feel in any terms you see fit? However you go all Montessori about it if you want to. How would you say Michael did summarizing Linkin Park?
I say that's 5 Hail Marys. And that's 5 out of 5.
Well, okay. All right.
I thought you did. I honestly learned so much. I never, as much as I love and talk about this album in my daily life, I never thought to look up their backstory. I was like, oh, they were just born together and they existed. I'm such an information junkie too. And I just I never thought to look up, Linkin Park's whole thing. And, I think it's because I didn't want them to be ruined for me in any way. I've looked up many a band and they've been ruined, like Pierce the Veil. They kind of got ruined for me a little bit because one of the members,
less than ideal behavior.
That's the situation. So I was like, let me just keep them perfect in my brain, you know, because you never know what you never know what you'll find.
That's true. And you're like, if something came up, it would become apparent, right? If something meaningful came up, you'd probably find it out anyway. If it was on the level of something where you're like, oh, it's big news. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll pass on them.
Exactly. But yeah, I learned so much from that. So thank you.
Well, you're so welcome, Corinne. You're so generous to me, and I appreciate your Catholic forgiveness.
Getting her 6,000 points for this notion, by the way, of they've always been there and they've always been a band. They sprouted out of the ground like some new metal gnomes, new metal dwarfs.
I mean, some of the videos, I could see that being the case. I mean, the way that some of the animation is in the videos, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them were them all sprouting up out of the earth.
Yeah.
But
they're elemental. It's a very elemental band, isn't it? I don't know what I mean by that yet.
You can conjure them like a druid.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I knew we needed some nerd energy on the pod this morning. This is exactly what we needed.
Before we dive too much into the band and the album, we like to start by asking our guests one slightly larger question, which is basically just, Corinne, what's your relationship with music, past and present?
Yeah, I think like present, I'll talk about present right now. I make a joke when I talk about music that I don't listen to anything that came out after 2005, which is the year I graduated high school. Which obviously is not true. I make sure I listen to every Beyonce album, every Adele album that comes out. And then people will send me new music and I'll listen to it, but like not many things move me anymore. Which is so sad. It's so sad. Like I'll definitely I've never listened to a Taylor Swift album, but I'll probably listen to this new one. I never listened to a Taylor Swift album at all. But I don't know. This new one intrigues me a little bit, and I'm like, I want to be a part of the hype a little. So I'll probably give it a listen, but I don't know if it'll move me. I don't know. But what does move me is nostalgia because I'm a millennial.
Welcome to group, as they say.
Yes. Thank you so much. I think my musical taste had a lot of influences. I have two older brothers. My oldest brother was very much into like alt rock, Bare Naked Ladies, and Matchbox 20, all that, you know. And then my other brother, he was hip hop and R&B, so I got that world. So both of those genres are kind of just like in my brain. And then my parents, of course, my dad used to be a DJ in college, so he has so many records that I just kind of had access to. He was really into P-Funk, soul, and I think I developed my own taste in music when Britney Spears and NSYNC hit the scene. And I was like, oh, this is for me.
Really? That was
it. Yeah, I loved late 90s, early 2000s pop music.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with NSYNC. I could talk at length about the career of NSYNC and especially JC Chasez. I have an entire TED Talk about. Well, I was a Justin girl, but JC, like, he should be Justin level famous, but he's not. And I have an entire TED Talk about it.
Okay, I need that TED Talk. I don't know enough to know. Was it his singing ability? Was that what did it, or was it?
He is a phenomenal vocalist. I won't even call him a singer. He is a vocalist. His instrument is so beautiful, but his debut album was all over the place. He didn't have an image. And whereas Justin, he was very specific and precise about who he wanted to present as with that first album. Yes. And your debut album, you have to have an identity. JC had no identity. And I think because he's not a big personality. He is a voice. He's a voice and a stunning voice, but a voice that unfortunately I don't know if we'll get another album from.
9,000 points for JC Chasez wherever he is. We hope you're okay.
He's doing fine. I imagine you heard the NSYNC single that came out from the Trolls album recently.
Yes.
His voice is the best voice on that track.
I saw him at Oaks like a few weeks before that came out. I saw it there. It's a coffee shop next to UCB, and I sat there and texted everyone. I was like, JC Chasez is at this coffee shop. Oh my God, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to say something. I got to say something to him. I waited till he was about to leave, and this is how it went down. So I'm sitting, and he's walking past me to his motorcycle, and I'm like, excuse me, excuse me, please, excuse me, hi, because he was, I think he was trying to ignore me, and I refused to be ignored. And then and so he comes over to me. He comes over and he's like, "Oh, hi," and he shakes my hand. And I was like, I said the smoothest fucking thing ever. I said, "Hi, I just really wanted to say that you are one of the most amazing voices of a generation. I just had to say that. Thank you so much."
Corinne.
Psycho. I was psycho.
That's on a level. You had a spiritual moment with him. That's what you did.
Thank you.
Had an
Thank you for
incident.
saying so.
I'm going to say 1,000,000 points for giving JC Chasez the validation of a lifetime.
I hope it did. I think he needs to hear it. I think he needs to get his flowers.
I mean, yeah, he's shilling for cat food lately, so I think he probably could use a little more encouragement. Yeah.
That was Justin Guarini.
No, there's a JC cat food commercial too.
You're right. JC was doing it too. Yeah. Hey, residuals.
I think you're also the second or third, perhaps, guest that we've had on recently whose dad was a DJ.
Oh, cool.
There's been, you might be the third, actually. Even, I think the third this season, perhaps.
To have a relationship with a parent where they're so specifically passionate about music in that way had to have been a trip. I don't know. I'm happy that you had that experience.
Yeah, we listen to music in the house. We listen to music in the car. I like car specifically, like car time specifically stands out to me because it's like it's whatever car, whosever car you were in, it was a very specific vibe of music that you're listening to. And I think that was very like, I don't know, formative in a way. So, yeah.
Did you like sing or did you ever like choir or instruments or make music?
Yes. I sang in choir. In high school, my mom had me in voice lessons. For a while, I was doing opera.
Damn.
I'm fine at it. Like, I'm not great. I'm like decent. Like, people wouldn't hear me and be like, "Oh no," and people wouldn't hear me and be like, "Holy shit!" You know, people would hear me and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's nice." Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I like that. You sound good.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah. That'll do. That's what it is. It's like, that'll do. Yeah.
Yeah. 60,000 points for a that'll do voice. That's what you get.
That'll do. And then instrument wise, I played the violin for like 6 months and that's it. And I like started to teach myself piano and then I quit. I was a quitter. I was a quitter when I was a kid.
There's just lots of stuff to do.
Yeah.
You only have so much time.
Yeah, it's true. We're all going to die soon. So
do you want to learn the violin or would you rather go hang out with your friends?
I'd rather build connection. Connection. And hang out with my friends means hang out with the cast of The Real World while watching MTV. That's what it means. That's what I did instead. I watched a lot of TV.
You know, so did I.
Yeah, and like I think my like biggest like introduction, like the reason I knew who Linkin Park was because of TV. There was a music network called The Box. Have you guys heard of The Box? So
I've heard of it.
It was all music videos all the time, and people would call in and punch in a number. Every music video had a number. And to request what happens next. It was music videos programmed by people and no hosts, no anything. It was just all music videos all the time. So like you would get like Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, followed by Rammstein, followed by Kylie Minogue. And like it would be great because you're like, oh, I didn't know these music videos existed. This isn't music that I normally have access to. And that's the first time that I saw the crawling video and fell in love with Chester.
I mean, if we're getting into the Chester of it all, I think I want to hold on the Chester bit because we got to go deep on Chester. But the box sounds like an amazing thing. I'm immediately wondering like what the licensing structure looked like for that, you know, like because like the that's an interesting, I don't know, legal situation. And then also something like this has to exist online, right? Like there has to be if not, we should make it.
I think it's just YouTube now.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you just search for it on YouTube.
But I like the idea of it being like a website that is a channel, right? That you would have to do. You would enter a code or something like that, and then it would get entered into a queue.
Yeah.
I think that's a millennial thing now. I think like I don't think Zoomers are gonna go for that. They just want it right now.
I don't know. Some of them are like going back to flip phones, you know, and a lot of people are going back to churn and butter. I think we're regressing. So I think there's a place.
Wait, do you know someone who's churning butter?
Personally, no, but online, there's girls out there churning butter.
It's one of those things where you're definitely seeing like a clip that's like, it's so easy. You're an idiot if you don't make your own butter. You're getting such incredible value. And I'm like, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's also right there at the grocery store.
Yes. And done better.
I'll give 100,000 points for the box. And then I'll give another 50,000 points for butter girlies.
You know, if you just leave your stand mixer on long enough, whipping cream becomes butter.
Okay, stand mixer flex.
Okay, we know what's on his counter.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay, KitchenAid, bitch.
Or hand mixer. You could use a hand mixer too. It just, you know, come on. I'm sort of privileged. I'm kitchen privileged.
You mentioned that the box was the first place you saw the crawling video, and that was your very first introduction to Linkin Park ever. Oh, amazing! How did it feel?
I don't like. I never voluntarily listened to new metal or. Well, no, I don't know if that's true because like I loved Blink-182, but like I don't put them in the same category. Like it's pop punk. This is new metal. I did listen to Limp Bizkit, but like. It only because Fred Durst was kind of cute back then. I don't know. Whatever. We're all going through things. But there was like something about Chester's voice. There I am back with the vocals. There is something about his voice that was like different from what everybody else was bringing to the table.
So how do you feel like you would describe new metal?
I think a lot of like angst, like in a way that is angry, angst bordering on anger, screamo in there, just like throw some rap, throw in a sick rap.
Right. That is an essential part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess that's just rap rock. So I don't know, maybe new metal and rap. I don't know. What is the difference?
I think the rap is the thing that differentiates Linkin Park from the rest of the emo scene for sure. Because if Chester would have dropped Mike like that freaking A&R guy was trying to get him to do, then I think he would have gone in a more pure emo direction, is what it seems like to me.
Yes, 1,000%. And to drop Mike Shinoda is like to stop breathing.
But on the other side of that too, Chester's voice is probably strong enough that he would have been exceptional in just about any group he was in.
But I have a theory it is a theory that is based on just my own personal preferences and how I think things work. So like when Journey added Steve Perry, Journey started to take off. But when Steve Perry like left and went solo, he didn't, even though his voice is like gold. I fucking think Steve Perry has one of the best voices in the world. But what did he do solo, you know?
Yeah, not much.
Yeah. I think that could have been the case for Chester too.
Yeah, he was probably wise enough to know that, or there was just too much going on. You know, you gotta assume. I didn't actually, Michael and I have spoken and, at great length over many years about the reasons why suicide by, people artists who we love, why it affects us in the way that it does. And like, it's something I'm really interested in on multiple levels, but I didn't dive too much into, I tried very consciously not to dive too much into what is known about that for Chester, because I feel like it's almost like, I don't know. My feelings on it are changing. If you don't mind me asking, like, how does that exist for you and like in your relationship with this band, if at all?
I think you saw a lot of his pain in the music, especially this album. I think this album is just all pain and trauma being released. When it happened, it wasn't necessarily like it was devastating, but it wasn't surprising, which is kind of terrible to say, because like you love to see like he had a family, you know, he had a kid, he like, it's like, yes, he's successful, he did this Jay-Z thing, you know, so like you like want to believe that these people that have got, like, Linkin Park got so many people through so many things. Like you I'm sure you talk to any Linkin Park fan, they will be like, this album did this and that for me. And so I think that's the case with like a lot of artists that we lose. It's like they save us but can't save themselves, which is devastating. In a very nice way, it keeps them up on a pedestal. But I mean, I would rather have him here still making music, obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to give you 500,000 points for they save us, but they can't save themselves. That's kind of breaking my heart right now, you know?
Yeah.
Michael and I made a show a few years ago called The Celebrity Guide to Mental Health and Wellness, for any of those real Michael and Tyler heads out there.
The OGs.
The OGs, yeah. And we talked about Robin Williams and Chris Cornell being two of those figures for us. And it's so funny that you see, I wasn't even that familiar with Linkin Park, but I knew that the pain was real with Chester when you listen to the music, even when it just came up on a top 40 radio station.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that was something you could really tell with people like Robin Williams and Chris Cornell as well, is that sometimes it's just right there written on their face.
Yeah.
Or in their voice in this case.
I think Chris Farley's the same way too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Chester sang at Chris Cornell's funeral.
Oh my God. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he sang at Chris Cornell's. I think like he was supposed to, this is another like crazy, unfortunate thing. If I'm not mistaken, he also was the replacement lead singer for Stone Temple Pilots after Scott Weiland died. And Scott Weiland left the band. It was a whole thing. But then, like, if I'm not mistaken, Chester became the new lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots. He sang at Chris Cornell's funeral. And I think it was months later is when Chester Bennington took his own life. So I don't know. What is it about like 90s male frontmen? Like what's the, I don't know. There's some who are connected to like, sort of connected to grunge in a way. Cause I think Chester had also been part of like a post grunge band before joining Linkin Park. So
yeah,
I don't know, there's something about that decade.
Something in the Mountain Dew.
I haven't had a Mountain Dew in so long. That is actually just it. That is, Michael and I were talking a little bit before this. We were saying Linkin Park they're deserving of every accolade that they got in our opinion. You know, like, again, not trying to show our cards too soon, but it's one of those bands that got so enormous that I kind of forgot about them. And it shows in like the people that they collaborated with. You know, when you're collaborating with Jay-Z, it's sort of like you're on that level. It doesn't get higher than that.
That introduced them to a whole new group of people who were like, oh yeah, they are great. Honestly, perfect album, like I said.
So, well, I mean, I feel like we should probably hear something that they recorded now. So I think like, Corinne, what have you chosen as your standout track off this album?
Yeah, so my standout track, this was really hard for me. I could pick a single, and any of the singles would be standouts because that is the point of a single. But I think that, like, for me, the song that is, like, that I love and always go back to, like, first, no, that's not even true. I think I love every song on this album. I love every song on this album.
This is genuinely so hard for you, and I love it. I love how hard it is.
It's so hard. But anyway, I chose Runaway. every song lyrically is fantastic, but like this is the one that pops in my head the most. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just really fun, but they're all so fun and good and so angsty.
Let's let our listeners decide for themselves. So, dear listeners, if you're listening to us on Spotify or via our YouTube playlist, you're going to hear the whole track. You're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, you'll hear just a little smidge of that track. But either way, we'll see you on the other side.